think it's important that impact management should not be this kind of just reporting. It's really a strategic tool, right? It's something that should help you in achieving more impact. So it's something that supports you, and it's something that looks into the future, right? So how can we what kind of targets can we set, expectation can we have, like how can we get there? So I think this forward perspective is very important, and in that sense you work together with your investor on these targets. So it should be a collaboration.
Well, first of all, if you start a social startup, social enterprise, and you work on social impact, you should be able and you should be ready to measure your social impact. Otherwise, you can neglect it and you just can leave it out completely also in communication. So on the other side, when you try to solve a societal problem and you say, okay, you have certain measures and activities that you want to do, you should check if that's what you're doing is not only meant to be good, but also really doing good. Because sometimes it turns out that, okay, you have good intentions, but in the end you do something wrong. There are some kind of side effects you couldn't foresee, and you should check, do you do more harm? Do you really help people that you intended to help? So yes, in my view, it's very basic and elementary for social entrepreneurs to do impact measurement on their activities. The way they do is quite different and difficult, because if you consider the whole impact chain, so to say, I mean, it's quite a lot of measurement and data and also scientific research you have to do if you want to find out really what you do on a societal level with your impact. But you do have the smaller steps. And I think the most essential thing in the beginning is, okay, what do I want to measure? What do I want to do? How could that look like? The way you put up your strategy on a business model side, you should also do on your impact model side. Make your thoughts, think about what you actually want to do, what are consequences of your activities, and then take some points, where are the milestones in your project. For example, after 1 year, check out, has it worked out? Have you reached the people you intended to reach? Have you done the activities? Have they had the effects that you intended to do? Or did something go wrong or didn't turn out as effective as you would like to have it seen? And then readjust.
The most important thing when you measure your impact is before you even start to defining your measurement framework, is that you have a really solid foundation, right? So a basis from where you can start to measure. I think important are two things. First is your impact objectives. You need to be very clear on what are your impact targets. And this sounds actually easier than it is, because it will ask you to be very specific and very focused what impact you're trying to achieve. And essential here is the theory of change, which I think many know out there, many impact entrepreneurs should know. And it will help you to specify the steps from an output level to an outcome level to an impact level, how you are achieving your impact. And what's even more critical in the theory of change are the assumptions that you make between each of the steps. Because you need to be aware of what are the assumptions, because they will guide you in finding the right indicators, setting the KPIs to measure your impact from short term to midterm to long term. Yes. So that's one thing, the impact objectives. When it comes to indicators, I get often questions, what are the right indicators? What should we choose? I think if possible, use standardized indicators. We have the IRIS, and the IRIS are mapped towards the SDG. So they're a great tool and the shared understood tool that will help you to track your impact and to communicate to your stakeholders. And then speaking of stakeholders, I think the second very important step is the stakeholder analyzes. Not all of your impact targets will be relevant for all of your stakeholders. So you need to know who wants to know what. And here again, if we speak of impact investors, the targets that your investor has with regards to your impact do not be completely the same as your targets. They should, of course, not interfere with each other, right? But there are targets that you share, but then maybe some targets that you don't need to share with him or her. And there it is important to go into discussion with your investor. What are the targets? What are the expectations? And that you set, and what kind of data do you need to deliver so you can track and monitor the impact?
So in general, as an organization, we are looking into both dimensions of impact. One is the impact creation, right, and the other is the impact orientation. And so, in order to measure impact creation, there is a variety of tools available. There is also the SRS reporting standard. There is, if you look at the impact investing space, the impact management project, and so on. What I also notice is that empirical social sciences provide also tools, to measure changes in attitudes, knowledge, and behavior. Oftentimes, social entrepreneurs are not aware of these tools. On the other hand, in terms of impact orientation, this is something that you can measure by auditing the organization. You look into organizational processes and how they are, practiced and lived and documented and so on. So a PHINEO methodology to apply this, and taking both dimensions together is, I think, important to get a clear picture.